Hey there, welcome to another Sunday night Watch Soup episode. I am your co-host, Bobby Legs. I am joined by our friend Sanjay from the Engineer Wannabe channel. Clayton not making it today. He ran a half marathon, way more than I would ever run ever in my life. Right? Have you ever run like a half marathon before,
No,
Sanjay?
never, never.
I
I
did.
I I
Yeah,
like running. I used to run, but I never
yeah.
actually did one.
I I've done some 5Ks
Yeah,
and but I gotta tell you I hate running. Like it's not like my thing long distance running. Like I played sports and so those short bursts of running were that's what I liked. You know what I
yeah,
mean? Like playing football, basketball, that kind of stuff. But like any kind of running, like I don't know. I just lose interest very
yeah,
quickly. You know
yeah,
and then I notice everything that hurts in my body. You know what I mean while I'm running, right? And
yeah,
I know you have to get past the point and you get that high where it's like, okay, you're good. I could just never psychological. It was all psychological. I could
yeah,
never get there.
yeah.
Yeah.
If you don't have anything to listen to, it kind of is boring.
Mm. Yeah.
So if you throw on a nice Bobby Legs live stream,
Yeah.
um,
that's that's. I wouldn't run to Bobby Legs live stream. I got to be
no,
honest with you.
no, I love listening to Bobby Legs live stream. You should try it out.
No, no, no. I mean, but running. Okay. All right. Maybe
Hey,
I'll give it
I
a
do it while detailing. So detailing can be a little boring. Um,
Yeah,
so,
yeah, yeah.
yeah,
I could see like doing that and listening to something. I
yeah.
mean, you know what I mean? But just like running is just man. Anyway, I give it to you guys who can do it. Hey, so what do you have on wrist this evening?
On my wrist tonight, it's a beautiful vintage Ulysse Nardin.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. It's gifted to me by Walt Cowboy Kishi.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Some
That's a great gift.
yeah,
Great
some
watch.
time ago. It was probably
Mhm.
like 2 years now. And then I
Wow.
took it to my AD, who is a specialist in Ulysse Nardin,
Yeah.
and they had to keep it for about 9 months to service it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah, it was, it's so perfect.
Yeah.
33 mil, 33
That's
mil,
awesome.
so right up my alley.
Yeah, right up your alley, man. That's great. Hey, I got the Damasco DK
Oh, yeah.
36. This has like been like so yesterday. Like I had a couple events to go to, and I was wearing my Zen Chrono, and I love wearing that watch. I really do like wearing that watch a lot. But this one has become like my go-to, like in the last couple of weeks, like my daily wear.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and enjoying that piece. Anyway, hey, let's say hello to people in the chat, and
Wait,
then
wait.
we'll yeah
Has anyone made a Donkey Kong joke to you yet?
about
DK, like, DK.
no,
No?
no, you're the first one.
Oh, man. And it wasn't even a joke. Oh, I'm sad
Hey,
now.
listen, you're a dad. I'm a dad. I get it. I
Yeah.
get it. The dad jokes. I get it. Totally get it. Totally get it. But let's start saying hello to people on the chat, and then we'll get to the soup. Hey, Mountain Center Time, Rob, how you doing, buddy? Chaz is here for some soup. Underachieving Watch Collector is here. Hey, Mizone's here. Deech, what's going on? Wearing the Sermit tonight. Very nice. Peter C. Ah, yeah. Hey, Chaz, what is he saying here? Sharf, McMahon, Baldassarre? Who's your fourth on Watch YouTube channel? Mount Rushmore.
You're
I don't know if
terrific.
you're yeah, but I mean, like, I don't know if these guys are
No.
on the list, right? I mean, maybe McMahon, just because it's just entertainment factor, McMahon. But I mean, you're terrific. For me, I mean, I'm with you. I mean, he's on the Mount Rushmore. Although I feel like he's selling out a little bit. What do you
I
think?
think yeah, I think so.
That's
Last few
okay.
videos have been
I feel like I could give him a pass. I don't know.
yeah.
It's so hypocritical of me, but I feel like I could give him a pass and not others. Not
I don't
others who
give him
did
a
it.
pass. I
No.
haven't been watching recently, so
Ooh, ooh. You're like voting with your dollars. You're not.
yeah.
You're not.
Voting
Okay.
with my view.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Um. Hey, Keith is here. How you doing, Keith? Bruno, what is up? Chaz is wearing the SBGJ 261 tonight. Wait, Peacock?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I got it. All right. Steve is here. How you doing? Oh, lowly Seiko for Dip. No, I think it's probably a pretty good Seiko actually. FP Wilson Wilson's here. Soup is good food. Yes, it is, Mr. Pale Horse. James is here. He's in the airport at San Francisco. Safe
Wow.
trips or safe landing. Yeah. Greetings from our friend Caliber. YQG, how you doing? Hey, Weebin's here wearing his brand spanking new. Saw that in the Bobby
Yeah.
Legs. He got a new watch alert. The SBGA 493. Beautiful, beautiful watch. Whoa. So Unachieving Watch Collector, I unsubscribed from several YouTubers as they weren't adding to watch hobby satisfaction. I hear you, man. I hope you don't unsubscribe from me, Unachieving Watch Collector. I hope I add just enough. My goal is just to add just enough.
Yeah. Yeah.
Unsubscribe from it. It
We
really is.
have a that'll do philosophy.
That'll. When you have kids, it's tough. It's tough. Ooh, You're Terrific is now on Mount Shillmore. Yikes. We'll play on words from Chaz there. Yeah, speaking some truth, maybe. Okay. Hey, look. So Clayton's not making it tonight because yeah, we'll finish that story. He ran a marathon and he's beat. So congratulations to Clayton on there, and hopefully he'll be back next week. Let's move on. So Sanjay will and I will be picking up the slack here, and let's go to our first topic video review this evening. Roman Sharf scammed, bought a $17,000 fake watch on a popular Facebook group. Yeah, so this video was actually much longer. I haven't watched Roman in a really long time, just because this kind of TV show format doesn't really do it for me with the content, especially when it comes to watch, talk and whatnot. But there was a part of this video that I wanted to talk about, and that was actually what the title was. This scammed bought a $17,000 fake watch, and a couple of things like really stood out to me. No doubt that this guy, obviously, this poor guy bought a fake watch. You hear them say Facebook Marketplace, but actually, I think it was a Facebook group when they were showing it. It wasn't really Marketplace. Maybe that was just just a misstep in communication there, or what he was saying. Um, but it felt like it was put on a little bit, right? Like I had no doubt that he reached out to them, and but it seemed like Roman Sharf and company probably used that as a moment to kind of like make this into like an episode, right? And that's what they
Yeah.
do. But it kind of felt a little forced and a
Yeah.
little like scripted, right?
Yeah.
And so a couple things from I think the buyer, he wasn't getting a manual or some sort of booklet that was promised in the listing. It seemed like he wasn't getting that from the seller, and there might have been a couple of things that tipped him off, and he sent it to AP, I believe, for verification. They're like right off the bat, this is not an AP,
Mhm.
right? This is not a valid AP. And so he came in, and I think he, came in for like further um, verification. And what was like almost like putting salt in the wounds. The other guy, not Roman, but his partner, I forget his name. He was like, so why did you buy from a Facebook group and not from like a guys like us to that extent? And I'm like, yikes, man, just a little too soon, right?
Yeah.
It's a little too soon. It felt like, and so like, and that guy was like, looking through the packaging and looking through the watch, and he was like, yeah, right off the bat, I could tell that blah blah blah. This is not a legit piece. Let's bring it to our watchmaker to verify, open it up, and see, right? And and this is where I found a couple things interesting, right?
Mhm.
Just little things that was like, well, wait a second, what kind of operation Rome is running in there?
Yeah.
So first of all, the guy, the watchmaker, was like, oh, this is a Tissot movement. He
Yes.
opened it up,
I
right,
got
right,
that.
right,
Yeah, I
and,
got that.
then, right, but then like I guess I don't know if they cut away and be like, "Hey, dude, it's like it's actually Tissot." So he kept on saying. Then he finally said like Tissot, right? Okay, and I'm
Yeah.
like, well, okay, well, all right, like maybe you know, I think like a watchmaker, a legit watchmaker would know the pronunciation of Tissot. This is not like a new micro brand. This is like a brand that's got some history that's been around for a while, right?
Longest.
So that was interesting, and then um he eventually he goes to and sits down with the buyer, or the guy who bought the watch, and was like, and said something else that was like I found like really really interesting and a little bit troubling.
Yeah.
Was like, and I have the quote here. He's like, I don't know what Tissot movement has a complication like in terms of the bezel, chapter rings spinning around. Like, first of all, like that's not part of the movement, the chapter ring,
No.
right?
No.
And the spinning around. So like I don't know if it's like you know, these guys aren't professional actors or orators, right? You know what I mean? Like so, like maybe in the matter of like trying to have some conversation, you just say. I know I say things that just like I'm like, what did I say after I'm done talking? But that kind of stuff was like a little bit of a red flag for me. So it's
Yeah.
not so much that this video. Obviously, this guy got scammed, and yes, be careful when you buy from groups and buy the seller as the points were made was made, and that's a great philosophy. But also, sometimes maybe do some better editing here on Roman's part because that guy came off as somebody who I don't know if I would even trust fully everything he says. I
No.
mean, so how did you feel? I mean, did you pick up? You
I did.
seem to pick up of those things that I picked
Yeah.
up. Yeah,
I was actually one of my questions because I've never watched the show before. I find it really um unwatchable
yeah,
because it
yeah.
has like that Pawn Stars vibe to it, right?
Right.
It's really very distasteful for me. But it was compounded on by what happened there. Like the Tissot I
Mm,
was okay with, maybe,
hmm.
it's a watchmaker who lived under a rock. My ears perked up when I heard that, right?
Right.
I was like, hey, maybe he just lives under a rock. He's been in America the whole time. He never heard Tissot pronounced. Ch Chances are slim, but it could have
Mm,
happened.
okay.
And he did correct it after, like you
Yeah.
mentioned.
Yeah.
Um, but then when I heard, that when he was talking about the internal rotating bezel,
Yeah.
and he talked about the Tissot movement
Yeah.
and the complication within the movement to turn the internal rotating
Yeah.
bezel, I was like, "What? No, no, no. Hold is this guy the watchmaker?" Or, I was gonna ask, "Is this guy actually the watchmaker or just some guy who opened the case back?" 'Cause,
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm deeply disturbed that he would think, unless if there is some weird or some movement that we've not heard of. I even went and looked at, like, some Longines Legend Diver disassemblies to see what kind of mechanism is within the case. Like, it's quite a complicated case when you have a internal rotating bezel, right?
Mm, mhm.
And that mechanism is housed in the case, normally
Right.
speaking, as far as I know. So, I don't know of any watch movement that would integrate that into the movement itself.
Mm,
Um, and
mm,
I found that deeply disturbing. So, yeah, have you watched this before? Like, these
mm.
guys before?
I used to watch Roman Sharf when it was just more like he would talk when he early on in his YouTube channel he would talk about like the industry or like kind of like not really doing reviews but showcasing some watches that he had and his thoughts. He would do a lot of Q&As. um and I thought that was very very interesting, and I liked that when he went to this format of making it more like a Netflix show. you
Mm,
know it really I just turned tune on. I mean, like they're like half hour, 40-minute episodes. I can't sit around for that. I
yeah,
mean, like that. I'm really like I'm a go. I'm like I have a short attention span when it comes to videos. Like anything that's over 10 minutes, like I'm like, oh come on, man. You know what I
yeah,
mean? And now like I watch all these videos now at 1.5 speed. You know
yeah,
what I mean? Just to get it through. I used to never be like that. I don't know what that says about me, but I used to never
mhm,
be like that. So it's just I and something like this I just can't handle.
mhm,
Um, you know, like I don't know if this guy is a real watchmaker or not, or maybe they have like a step below a watchmaker there that is just like does some generic verification if a watch is legitimate or not. I mean, I think it's pretty much easy enough to go in there and see that obviously, boom, this is a Tissot movement. It
yeah,
says Tissot on the rotor, right? You know what I mean?
yeah,
Um, but maybe they have legitimate watchmakers in the back who maybe are camera shy. I don't know.
Mhm.
I don't know. But like, if this is like what like these businesses have as their kind of like a front line and like making sure a watch is like real or not, man, that's like kind of very very concerning.
Mhm.
And compounded on the fact that like you can get like had on Facebook and all these groups, and even like watch you see. I mean, you do hear some nightmare stories. A Corona 24. I've recently heard one that's kind of like a little bit of a nightmare story. So it's just like selling watches is brutal. It makes me now like just want to buy new and incur whatever cost that is from an AD, and thinking that that's like my best option, at least to get like a legitimate watch.
Mhm.
It's scary. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Especially with these high end luxury products like an AP. You know what I mean? Like, man, I was like, oh, you got to go secondhand. That's the way to go. You can save yourself a lot of money. Let that first buyer take a hit. But then, Jesus, man, I mean, like, I don't know. You can, if you're not savvy enough, you can get had, and somebody disappears with your money,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. They did have some good advice, right? By the seller not to watch.
Yeah, but
But
I mean, like, you're telling me to buy the seller. The guy can't even say the company right of the fake movement. Do you know what I mean?
no, no, not this seller. Different.
Yeah,
We'll go watch box.
yeah,
Yeah, I wouldn't. I found that pretty disturbing. The whole presentation to the poor victim of
yeah,
what happened. It was it was kind of, what I thought of. It was kind of like um a car dealership.
yeah,
And it's like one of those sleazy car dealerships where
yeah.
they're trying to rip a guy off, and I go, as you can see here, the technician found that the flux capacitor is out,
Right.
and the wormhole operator
Yeah,
is kind of out of shape. So
yeah.
it's just,
Look at you
just
throwing down like some sort of movie quote in there, just to make you pretend that we think that you can watch movies. We know you don't really watch movies.
what is
You
a
watch
flux
like five.
capacitor?
Yeah.
I've heard people say flux capacitor and
Yeah. So back to
gonculator.
the future.
Yeah, the gonculator is a good one from the
So
Holy Grail.
you're quoting movies that you haven't seen.
I mean, I pick up quotes, right?
Okay.
I
You're the best,
vicariously
man.
watch movies. What is
You're
it
the
from?
best.
Is it
It's back,
popular?
that's back to the future. Back to the future.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Um
that's a popular movie.
Maison, he doesn't do Facebook at all. Um I don't know if you watch it. I'm selling magic beans on Facebook Marketplace. I'm about to get a Facebook just to get an invite into Teachers group. Okay. Uh, I felt the same way when I saw the T50 for sale. I'm watching. Hey man, I put it up. You busted my chops about putting up the T50 for watch. You see, I'm a U50 guy, man. I figured it out. I'm a U50 guy, not a T50 guy. It's a good watch.
Yeah,
Good watch.
I'm with you there. I think I'm a U50 guy now too.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah. I mean, there's something. Yeah, I mean, the T50 it's a great watch. It's a
Mhm.
great watch. It's just like I like those those
Yeah,
Lego hands. I just like it a little bit better. That's
the
all.
quirkiness of the U50 is more endearing, I think, than
Yeah,
the.
absolutely. And I had a U50, and I know I would buy that back in a second. Totally.
Mhm.
Um, I wish these watch YouTubers would just go away. Detroit, that's a huge. I mean, like, there's so many. I mean, like, there's hundreds of thousands of people who like subscribe to these guys, right? You know. Anyway, yeah, we need to bring Amin out of retirement. Absolutely, we need more quality stuff like that. Um, that guy probably authentic. That guy probably authenticates for eBay, right? Yeah, and that's the crazy thing. I mean, thanks for bringing that up, Underachieving Watch Collector. Like I never bought watches off eBay. Never, not even like the cheap little whatevers, like the Seikos. Like I would never. And then they had the authentication process, and that gave me a little bit of comfort. At least I thought, um, when purchasing. So I started buying watches off of eBay because of that. But there's no way that they authenticate these things like for
Mhm.
real because of the sheer volume. There's one place that does it, right? And I know supposedly they take pictures, but do they really open up like every case back and check out the no, I mean to verify movements, they definitely don't do that, right? I mean, maybe there's other ways they can tell physically from the case and the dial that it's real, and that's good enough for the process, and they have some CYA right there with that. But man, I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm second guessing buying off of eBay now too.
Yeah.
Unless it's coming from a trusted store like Watchbox. Like Watchbox on eBay is like a deal, especially if you shop right and make offers and have like an eBay coupon going on. And man, why would you buy anywhere else? In my opinion. Um.
For
Anyway.
me, actually, the authentication process of eBay deterred me even more. I've
Oh.
never
Okay.
bought it on
Why is that?
eBay.
Yeah.
Um, I don't want. I mean, sure, this might be some great watchmaker or some vetted watchmaker or something like that who's authenticating it, but
Hmm.
I don't want someone to open the case back, right?
No,
Especially if
they're
it's a
definitely not though, Sanjay. They're definitely not
yeah,
opening the case back for sure.
yeah. That would be good, but
Mhm.
ideally, again, if it's a newer watch, I'd like that factory seal to be on that case.
True.
I mean, sure,
Mm.
safety is better than not
Yeah.
being safe and getting a fake watch, but um, yeah, I don't know. I
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good
yeah.
point. But still, I mean, like, like there's so much gray area right there. Like, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, it's scary. It's scary. It's scary. It's like,
Yeah.
man,
And
I
if they're not
buy.
opening the case back, what are they really authenticating? I mean, the fakes are so good. We saw that AP.
Yeah,
It was kind of
I
good
don't
enough
know.
to pass without opening the case back, right?
We just have to have faith that the person who's actually looking at these things can tell if something. Like, I mean, like how do you like authenticate a? So it's like over what, over $2,000. Like,
Yeah.
how do you authenticate like a '90s Alan Silverstein?
Mm.
I mean, nobody's
And have
faking
to,
it, right? But I mean,
yeah.
like, how many times has that guy seen one in person? So he knows. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
maybe that's a poor example, but there's got to be some other watches that are really rare, but that nobody would probably buy, but somebody does, and it's over $2,000, and it comes in front of them, and like, like, what do you like? How do
I
you
guess
authenticate it?
Yuli's not a freak or something, right?
Well, I mean, I mean that might be a little bit different because maybe you would pull in somebody who or try to maybe they contact people that they know that would be able to verify that. Yeah, I don't know, man.
No one's faking
That's
a freak.
nobody's faking that. Nobody's
Yeah.
faking that. Yeah. So um, the soup is extra hot tonight. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. We want to burn the roof of your mouth. It seemed to me like the guy got scammed on the Facebook Marketplace, and they wanted to scare people away from buying on mono.
Mm.
Perhaps that's what we saw when they looked at the phone, and it was perhaps the buyer should have said, "I don't buy from Luxury Bazaar because you guys vouch for TPG and Stefano." Yo, bait and switch. Hey, Michael B. Saying, I don't think that kid is actually a professional watchmaker. He was one of the contestants. To be a seller, seems like he knows
Mm.
Rolex and dabbles in watchmaking. Okay, but I don't want somebody who dabbles in watchmaking to be the authenticator, right? Old Roman Sharf has was much better to me as well. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we know that it didn't happen in a motor group. We know. Um, it's here. Let me catch up here because we do have to move on.
Mm.
Uh, Bobby, please speed up your talking to 1.5% and 95%, 0.5% and see what happens. Oh man, that's great. Perhaps. Um, okay, let's move on. Okay, um, you picked one of our Watch Soup favorites of all time, Jeffrey
Absolutely.
McMahon. I don't have the secret codes. Sanji, tell us about this. And do you have the secret code?
Ah, see, okay, so this is an interesting video. I'll go through what happened,
Yeah.
right? So he starts off like talking about Ozempic, the miracle drug that's being spoken about. I don't know much about it. It seems um seems like it's a pretty good thing going on there. But so apparently this drug is the secret code for overeating. is it reduces cravings for calorie dense foods, apparently, allegedly. So he was talking about this, and I don't know what happened for him to make this emergency video, right? Because he kept saying it's an emergency video, and he had to
Yeah,
make it then and there,
yeah,
right
yeah,
now. So something must have happened. And he got this new phone. He was talking about his new Android phone. I'm guessing he had old pictures backed up to Google Photos or something, and he saw his old beloveds, the cyan blue Marine Master
yeah.
200. um,
Uh,
and he didn't want to post pictures on Instagram. It's a bit concerning. And newsflash, he now has 7 watches. I don't know what happened to 3 watches.
yeah,
Oh, McMahon, what happened? And then he talks about, going back to the solution. One of the solution is going down, always be in consolidation mode. Is what he was saying in essence. And maybe 3, 4, 5 watches is that magic number. And so yeah, the questions I had were, what happened? Why is this an emergency video? Something happened for him to be triggered into making this video. Um, and the other question I had was, he's we talked about this before, but he's so tormented, right? Um, and he and it seems like if we look at this as some kind of true addiction, because I'm almost compelled. Before I was taking it as in stride, kind of like a bit of a funny haha kind of thing, but this this might be an actual addiction, right? For
yeah,
him. Um, I don't know if that is the case for us. I mean, I kind of tend to live in a bubble and project onto everyone, so I have to hold myself back on that because for me, I'm having a bit of a blast with the watches, and I know we all kind of are. So I might be projecting there again, but but I never considered this to be an addiction. Like, it wouldn't be
mm,
the end of the world for me if watches
yeah,
disappeared off the face of the earth, right?
yeah,
Um, but if this is some kind of coping mechanism, right? And if it's a coping mechanism, there is a comment where he says watches might be cheaper. I don't think he said it in this video, but watches are cheaper than therapy, and I can guarantee you therapy is cheaper, my friend. um, so it might be worth it to look into some therapy, right?
yeah,
Um, and not allow this to be a coping mechanism, because then there's going to be this yo-yo of 3 watches, 10 watches, 3 watches, 10 watches, and involuntarily being on this horrible roller coaster ride, which seems to be the case. Um, but if you're happy and you're in it, you can still enjoy the watches, but have a peace of mind.
yeah.
You know, what do you think?
Well, yeah. I mean, totally. Like a lot going on here. I think the emergency um may have been like people reaching out to him on Instagram and
Oh, okay.
telling them like oh no I'm speculating because I was kind of like mostly paying attention while like doing something with the kids when I was listening to the video, but like
Right.
he had the example where a guy had this collection and it was causing some issues with his wife, and he was trying to, but he didn't want to get rid of anything or something like that, and like and Jeff, he didn't have the codes. He didn't, he doesn't have the codes. Like he doesn't know what to tell you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He really, yeah. So like I really identify with this addiction
Hmm.
analogy that he's making, and I totally think like I man, I switch addictions. Um, I call them interests. Uh, you know, from topic to topic, or whatever it is, to something else, and the last couple of years it's been mostly watches, and like I think about them a lot. I probably think about them way more than I should.
Hmm.
So I'm tying obsession with addiction because to me it feels like almost the same thing here. Maybe they have a slightly different definition. But I think about them a whole lot, man. And
But
I go, yeah.
would you consider that to be detrimental to your well-being?
It could be
Yeah?
if it, well, I mean, Here's where it could be, and I'm not
Right.
saying that it's not for, but I mean it could. Like it could be a financial detriment, right? And that financial insecurity can cause some panic,
Mm,
for sure. So it can cause some mental detriment because maybe my family feels like they're being cheated from my time, and they let me know about it, and then like now I'm struggling with that in my head, right? So look, I'm not going to the bar and blowing all my money on booze and getting into a car and driving and drunk or something like that, right? I'm not doing that. So it's like it's not like an immediate, danger, right? It's not
right.
that kind of danger. But it can be a detriment in other places. I've known people and I've talked to people who it has been, right? And
Mm,
they've kind of have to pull back a little bit. Um, but for me, it's just like the detriment is that, man, I don't really. It's a looking glass, right, into like my soul. Like I don't really know what makes me happy.
right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Okay, family makes me happy, right? But like but the rest of it, it's like like wow, like do I have like this insatiable appetite to find something, and do I need to always be happy? Like why can't I just sit around and just like not be happy,
Mm,
not be mad or angry, but just sit with those feelings? You know what
yeah.
I mean? Like I need to cover them up with like the new shiny toy. I mean, I don't know. I'm
So
like free balling here. I'm like, I'm talking free forming here. Like I don't know what I'm saying here. I don't know what's coming out of my mouth right now.
no,
But I
but
mean, like,
that's like kind of an example of a coping mechanism, right?
mm,
And coping mechanisms aren't necessarily good because you're band-aiding a problem,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
So sitting with those uncomfortable thoughts might actually be the right
Oh
way
yeah,
forward because then
yeah.
you're
Who wants to
not
do that?
yeah, you're not kind of you covering up the problem.
Uh,
You're sitting and you're dealing. You kind of have to, in a sense, grieve, like a form of
yeah,
grief, right?
yeah.
Um, or
What? We're talking about watches and we're
yeah,
grieving.
yeah, yeah. But I guess if the watch gives you that hit of dopamine, you don't have to deal with the grief of whatever
Oh
is going
yeah,
on in life, right?
yeah. Oh, absolutely.
And that becomes, oh, that becomes that's the addiction then at that point, right?
Yeah.
So,
So it has nothing really to do with watches,
right.
right? It's so much more deeper than that, and we're getting so deep in the soup. Let's see what the chat has to say.
Yeah, yeah.
Rescue us from this crazy nonsense we're talking about. Emergency video has means he thought of yet another way to make the same point. Oh, Chaz. That's drugs. Secret to success: cramps and diarrhea. Yeah, you lost weight. Okay, all right. Big risk. Bobby is in acquisition and consolidation mode at the same time. How does someone like me who never sells consolidate? Hey, look, trade a couple pieces for one piece,
Don't
or don't, or just
don't
don't
don't.
sell.
So the I think one of the things is that stresses him out is in a sense maybe it's the financial burden of having pieces and
Mm,
then seeing another shiny toy that he'd like to purchase and then selling them to which is again I could be projecting because that's my problem.
mm,
Um, but if you're committed to never selling, I think you give yourself so much freedom.
yeah,
Um, because then the watch is the watch, which is your watch, and
yeah,
it's
yeah, yeah,
done. It's a done
yeah.
deal. Which is
Maybe,
why
maybe,
I'm a new man now, right?
yeah. I would say maybe we should not sell, but I'm already selling one right now, like trying to sell
Yeah.
one. But it's but it's going to another one.
The road
So
to
that's
success is
lateral
full of
move.
failure, my friend.
Yeah, yeah. I should just never say anything about watches again.
No, no.
I eat my words all the time. I guess I can understand some people, Maison says, might have a watch addiction related to a shopping addiction. Yeah, I think it's very similar. Very similar.
Mhm.
Um, he's addicted to making videos that all make the same point. And wow, Chaz is going hard at uh at McMahon. I think the Titans lost today. Tennessee Titans. I think that's why he's a little upset. Um,
Oh, McMahon is
Bobby's
dealing with the same problems
yeah.
he's always been dealing with, so the videos kinda have to be similar.
Hmm. Bobby's getting nervous with all this kind of talk about roller coasters. Mm, mm.
You don't like
Uh,
roller coasters?
no, I love roller coasters. I don't know
Oh,
what
okay.
Kevin's talking about. I just pretended that I was like, mm. I have no idea what he's talking. Also, kind of think that he has an element of social media addiction. Yeah, well, I think he kind of like touched on that. He
He did. He did.
has. Yeah, yeah,
He said
um,
you're going to go down to 3 watches, then you'll no longer be relevant. He kind of threw that in
yeah,
there, right?
yeah,
Um,
and he
which
gets
I
advice
disagree
from
with.
his.
I
Yeah,
totally
no, no,
disagree with. If you
totally.
find your group of friends, you don't have to keep buying. You're there hanging out with them, and you know
Yeah,
you don't
and
you
if he's
don't have
worried
to.
about like content creation, I mean, like, do we, like a guy like Teddy B, right? You necessarily wouldn't know what's in his collection at any particular moment in time. Sometimes he does a collection video. He doesn't
Mhm.
review his own watches. You
No.
know what I mean? He just makes content about watches that are coming out, or he's trying to sell in a store, or like topics and whatnot. So there's other ways because I feel like he ties his social media well-being with the purchasing of watches, right? Or
Mhm.
having watches, new watches to take pictures of. And it's
Mhm.
just probably there's a way to do this without buying and selling watches. I still haven't figured it out either. Um, Superfly Micros. Oh, looks like maybe possibly somebody we know created another account and maybe used. Okay, and maybe not. Maybe not. If all I had was Seiko, I would probably go crazy too. Yeah. Sympathy for the bezel. Litmus test. If your watch purchasing habit puts you and your family in financial hardship, then you have an addiction. If not, be happy and chill the F out. Strong statement. Um,
That's the thing. You can't tell someone dealing with grief or some kind of deep issue,
mm,
deep issue that something's wrong to just be happy.
yeah, it's yeah, it's so hard. Hey, Kersha, you missed everything. You totally missed it all, man. So hopefully we'll keep you up to speed. You missed so much. It was
just
so the first
just
20
go
minutes of the
back in
show.
1.5 times speed.
Yeah, yeah, whatever. Right. Kevin has, I'm developing a wonderful interest in crack cocaine. Been a pretty fun ride so far. Uh, if I'd really wanted to waste 30 minutes of my life and a few thousand brain cells, I'd watch him again. Oh,
Oh,
that's harsh.
he's a good
Um, yeah, I made a mistake. I caught myself, guys. All right, I see a couple guys making fun of me for saying free balling. I meant free forming. All right. Yeah. Okay. All right.
guy.
Gotcha.
I knew what you meant.
I know.
Yeah,
You know what I meant.
spitballing is what you meant.
Spitball. Yeah, spitballing. I meant spitballing.
Yeah.
That's what I meant. I got so angry from a lack of food, I almost passed out of the beautiful wash roll. Glad I had a Snickers. Kevin. Uh, uh, teacher sir, McMahon's probably flipping Dibby's #1 Seiko customer. True that. True that. Hey, let's move on to the last one. Okay,
Yeah.
this was actually Clayton's pick, and that is the Teddy Baldassarre 6 watches with the most passionate and sometimes annoying enthusiasts followings. Right. So I took some notes, and Sanjay, keep me honest. If you took something else or noticed something else that I may have, um, you know, not picked up, please interject. Yeah. No good.
No, I was thinking you might not have free ball. Sorry. Sorry, I
That's
had to
all
throw
right.
that in there.
It's all right. It's okay. We're all free balling at some point. Okay, so yeah, 6 watches. That with the most passionate and annoying, possibly annoying fans. So #1, Seiko SKX, right? Um, uh, if you and I think when he brought this up and talking about how like maybe it was a foundation for a lot of people who are collecting now. We're talking about people within the last like 5 to 10 years, right? Because I feel like in that time it it was really pushed a lot by a lot of the YouTube content creators, and I almost like felt when I got back into collecting that I needed to get this watch because of the video. Like I didn't like come up with the idea myself that I needed SKX, but I'm
Mm.
glad I got it. I'm glad I did got it. And that the people, if that watch came out today, right, with the specs that they have, like it'd be like criticized. People would hate it, right? You know, but because it's been around for a little while, because there's some nostalgic value here, people will give it a pass and defend it, right? Defend it. And
Mhm.
another thing about the SKX is like a whole like cottage industry of modders has come out of it. Like different channels, different companies who provide modding parts. And it's like the Honda Civic of watches, right? There's like so many aftermarket parts for it, right? And people just like to. I mean, I tried my hand in it. Switching up the hard legs for sapphire crystal. Nothing crazy with the movement. I didn't take the movement out and put a new
Mhm.
movement in because the whole date wheel thing with the NH35, I know it's a little bit different than the 7S5, whatever it was. But changed the hands a couple times. I've done that, the bezel inserts, and that was kind of fun until it wasn't, until you get too frustrated. So that's you got some crazy fans with the Seiko SAX, right?
Mhm.
Number two, he pulls out the Vostok Amphibia, right? And he's got some good lines on description on this one. I think not only is it a cheap watch, right? But the way to get one is kind of like it's very, very shaded. And what was the line here? It's like a lot of people, I think they get the thrill of it because it feels like a drug deal more than like a watch purchase, right? Because you have to go through some shady site.
Yeah.
You don't know if your money's in there yet. You never get a tracking number, right, for any of these, right? But it has like a very it does the job for a very cheap price. It's got crazy, crazy dial variations, right?
Mhm.
And for a lot of people, it does what it's supposed to do, what a watch is supposed to do at a very, very affordable rate. And he says like every time he does some of these like videos or he did one on Boss Tag, like or like he'll mention like a watch, it's like a $5,000 watch. He's like, why would he's like the fans of Vostok fans would be like, why would I pay 5,000 when I could get like 500 Vostoks or whatever the equivalent is.
Yeah.
um Number three, for watches that have the most passionate and loyal fans, he mentions the Rolex Submariner. Right, it's an icon. People are it's created its own like language to it, right? Like in words, right? You have the Cermet, you have the Batman, the Pepsi, nipple dial, whatever. You know what I mean? Like people have come up with their own terminology when it comes to Rolex, the Rolex Submariner. Um, Number four, Panerai, Paneristes, another loyal base. Even when they've done Panerai's done some interesting or maybe terrible, made some terrible choices with some, with brand with models. The Paneristi comes, in and saves the day. They're loyal. They fight to the death for Panerai. So Paneristis,
The
great
website
enthusiasts. Yeah,
website
yeah,
hasn't been updated since George W. Bush.
right. That was another great line there, right?
Yeah.
Um, Number five, the G Shock, right? I mean, you said you could go Casio. You going with G Shock more specifically? There's always room for one more, right? I mean, you could have like 20 G Shocks, but you always have room for one more. And inevitably, like when he does these videos for like these perpetual calendar watches that are so like expensive, $20,000, $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 watches. He's like, oh, you always have somebody in the comments. Well, I mean, my G Shock does the same thing for like $40, right? And so you have like a rabid G Shock fans. I am a huge G Shock fan. I have 6 or 7. I don't even know. I don't even keep a number in my head anymore. I'm not as crazy and as fight to the death enthusiast like some people, but
Mm.
I'm a huge fan. And finally, and this one, probably up your alley a little bit here,
Mhm.
Grand Seiko. Um, you know, um, not too much exposure until recently, in the last few years in North America. They're they seem to be people who greatly appreciate the engineering of the brand, and they get really nerdy about it and dive deep into that kind of stuff. Also, maybe a little bit of an underdog here, right? They're stark defenders of the watch, because they feel like it's very much underrated compared to the competition. Sanjay, what did you think about Teddy's video?
Yeah.
And I want to hear specifically what you had to think about when it comes to Grand Seiko and what he's got.
um, before that, he had another line for that G-Shock thing, right? Do you remember what that was? I thought it was a bit off key, but I can't quite recall it now.
Yeah, no,
Um,
I can't recall it. I think I know what you're talking about. I
yeah,
just don't remember.
because I
Yeah,
was thinking like my eyebrows went up a little bit when he mentioned that. It was like
yeah,
just one more thing, but there was something a bit off key, but I can't quite place it now because I watched it a little bit ago.
yeah.
But that said, yeah, I enjoyed the video from Teddy. I thought it was fun. I don't quite think that I might be again living in a bubble, but I don't quite think the Seiko SKX has that big of a following anymore, especially with the
Mhm.
5KX. Um, I guess there was the whole protest when the SKX became the 5KX, but I don't know. I haven't seen too much enthusiasm about the SKX recently. Um, but historically, probably he's probably right.
Yeah.
Um, at least anecdotally, I haven't seen anything that crazy about it. The Amphibia again is a watch I just don't quite get. I don't think I'd even want to entertain putting my details into into a website.
Absolutely.
um,
It goes back to some Russian troll farm in St. Petersburg, right? Like you just like totally hack the rest of your family if you give the information. Yeah.
yeah. Um, and a Rolex Submariner again, a little surprising. I don't know if it's just a Rolex as a brand kind of fan base
Mm-hmm.
or just the Submariner alone. I don't know if there's anything.
Yeah, I don't know
Uh,
too many people have like multiple. I mean, there's probably people out there who've collected older, like older versions of the Submariner, but I just don't feel like compared to what I've heard from like Seiko SKX fans or Grand Seiko, like I don't. That's like real specific, and I just don't
mhm.
know. I mean, he knows probably more than me, but I'm with you. Like I don't know about that one.
Yeah, yeah. Panerai, I agree. Panerai can be, yeah, has a bit of a cult like following.
Yeah, yeah.
G-Shock, I don't know. I don't know about G-Shock. I don't know if the
Oh,
following is.
I know some big time people, followers, big time, cult members
Yeah.
of. Oh yeah, 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 yeah,
Would
yeah,
they
yeah.
would they die on that hill kind of cult members or?
Um, I don't know, Deej. What do you say? Would you die on the G Shock? But he's a ravenous G Shock fan.
Well, you're
But
you're a G-Shock fan.
yeah, yeah. I
Um,
mean, I'm not. But I preface by saying like I won't. I'll further say that I wouldn't die on that hill.
yeah,
But I don't know. I don't know if it's nostalgia based with me. And probably. Is it affordability? Yeah, probably.
yeah,
Um, the fact that they come out with new stuff, I get like a text every day from them with something new. Yeah, they got me. They got me hook, line, and sinker. Now I don't buy every single one I see, and I haven't. But like I kind of like look forward to like when they have like something new that comes out. I'm like checking it out. You know what I mean? Like I like G Shocks.
yeah.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. I'm looking at this G-Shock thing here. Uh,
But you're more of like a dressy um mechanical watch kind of guy,
yeah,
right? That's your thing. That's your thing.
right, right.
You know,
Yeah.
G Shock is not your thing. That's fine.
Um, it's okay. Like G-Shocks are fine.
Yeah.
They're novelties. I shouldn't say that. No, yeah, they're cool. They're cool. But okay, I shouldn't find out if there's a gang of people willing to die on that hill. But I've never pictured anyone to be um, like willing to go to war about a G-Shock. You know,
Yeah,
I see a couple of comments from Mr. Big Wrist. I'm sure he's doing it in jest, but
yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if anyone would go to war about G-Shock. But
Right, like look, I mean, like random Rob, I think would go to war for G-Shock.
yeah,
Oh yeah, for sure.
but, but he's had the Submariners and
Yeah. No, but I mean, he always pulls back to affordables once he goes like luxury. I mean,
yeah.
I don't know. I haven't seen anything, in a while. But when it comes to G-Shocks, man, he's always said that's his thing, man. That's his
Mm,
thing.
yeah,
So there's
that's true.
people out there. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Grand Seiko, on the other hand, I do
Yeah. Here we
kind of
go.
agree.
Oh,
Um,
what?
there are people who are very cringe-worthy.
Hmm.
Like you when you see like a wrist shot, and I'm sure like everyone goes through this phase. Um, I'm sure I've gone through this phase where you take a look at this and uh, I don't know if I've gone through the phase where I think, yeah, better than Rolex for sure. Because but you see those comments all the time, right? And it's a little yeah, yeah, it's a little cringeworthy. They're
Hmm.
they're different. I don't, yeah. So I do see that when everyone's like looking for a fight, right? When you make that comment, it's like you're looking to
Yeah.
fight, right? Yeah, this is better than Rolex. And you're waiting for the Rolex guy to say, "Oh yeah, is it really is it really better than the Rolex?" Um, so yeah, I can see Grand Seiko being one of those difficult communities, but at the same time, there's a lot of us in this Grand Seiko community that are very reasonable people. Especially since we're nerds, right? Like you mentioned, I'm
Yeah.
absolutely a nerd, and I think a lot of Grand Seiko people tend to gravitate towards Omega as well because there's a lot of tech and nerdiness there too.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I agree with his assessment of Grand Seiko
Yeah. Yeah.
being a difficult bunch of people.
Yeah. But fun video. A nice,
Yeah.
good
Would you
topic because yeah.
would you
Go
add anyone in here?
Hmm. I had to think about that. I really didn't. I should have probably thought about that when I saw this video. Like, if there was anything missing here. I'm sure I probably could. What about you? Do you have anything off the top of your head? Any
Uh, Micro brand guys.
micro brand
I
guys?
know it's not just a brand, but micro
Yeah.
brand guys can be a little
Mm-hmm.
not
Mm-hmm.
yeah, a little difficult,
Yeah. Hey, I
Well,
got this watch that has a sapphire crystal and it hacks, and it's like it's got a, you know what I mean. And then you're paying thousands of dollars. You know what I mean? No,
yeah,
I see that.
yeah.
I agree.
It's like the guy at the gas station who has a Prius comes up to a truck driver, like, "Hey, man, how much do you pay on gas?"
Yeah. Oh
Like,
yeah,
"Well,
yeah,
it
yeah,
cost me
yeah,
like $100." It's like, "Oh
yeah.
yeah, just cost me $20 on my Prius." She's, "Oh, it's so
You have a
bad."
Prius, don't you?
Sorry?
You
Oh,
have a
I
Prius, right?
used to.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah, I don't like the Prius community at all. It's just so no, I shouldn't say the whole Prius community, but those really fringe Prius community guys are a little difficult. I don't have a Prius anymore though. Um,
Okay, but that's hot take. The Seiko SKX is a shitter. Mm. SKX mod for life.
without an SKX, there wouldn't be Long Island Watch, the Islanders.
Yeah, I mean, excellent point, Sanjay. But you're absolutely right.
And
You're absolutely
we wouldn't have been graced by that incredible range master, right?
right. Yeah. Teddy's much better, but he still puts me to sleep. I just watched a Teddy B in hopes of catching him earlier. You surely jest, Chaz. Surely. Never had a Seiko, Mason says. No nostalgia here. Never had a ball sack. Sub? Possibly. But if I had the 50 fathoms already, appreciate Panerai. Don't really fancy one anymore. Too many other options. Not interested in G-Shocks. Hey, you just wrapped it up in a few sentences there. Very nice. Teddy's Navy SEAL and stuntman videos were a good watch. Wait, he did that? Okay. All right. His own could take an interest in GS, but too expensive. Hmm. And then GS expensive compared to Bon Pon. So Kevin and Maison are going back. Hey, Weibman says, I bought my fourth Grand Seiko. I was at the Grand Seiko event in Brooklyn. He talked about, oh, okay, so I think he's talking about Teddy. I'm not an addict. I can stop anytime I want. All right.
Sounds like an addict.
Yeah, that's what they all say, right?
I'm just joking with it.
Wilson was trying to explain how these two Grand Seikos were so different to me the other day, but I can tell them apart. Hey, Craig, good to see you. Omega deploying class on their rubber straps are the tops. Our tops. I'm a huge fan. Have a sub collection. He's talking about the G-Shocks. Love the brand, but lately finding big value in Casio. Love the brand, but or were you talking about different? Okay.
I think the G-Shock is kind of almost spun out now from Casio.
Gotcha. Good night, Superfly. No, I didn't think you were a scammer, Superfly. It was just a joke, man. It was just a joke because there's other people here who are not as into micros and wouldn't surprise you. No offense. I hope you didn't take offense. Pretty sure Random Rob wouldn't go to war with anyone but himself. Okay. Hey, Peninsula P. Never got the G-Shock hype. I do like Casio Edifice watches, though. Good watches, right? Those are really good. Okay. G-Shocks will outlive cockroaches and humanity. They will be the computer with no one to serve. Maybe a Skynet. Skynet, do you get where that came from?
Yeah. Terminator was
Okay.
my favorite. Terminator 2 was my favorite movie of all time.
Yeah, Mrs. Leg's big fan of Terminator 2.
Yeah,
Big fan of
best
that.
one. Best one.
Johnny McJohn face. Haha, my Chihuahua poops less than your Rottweiler.
What?
All right. Okay.
I think he was talking about like the Prius and the truck. And
Oh, okay. Okay. Okay.
It's a good one though, man. That's so
good. Aren't all Seiko's grand to watch that and take risks? New katanas from Grand Seiko are about $5,600 US. Still decent buy in the market with the 44 GS case and spring drive movements. Sanjay loves it. He does love it.
It was so good. I could totally see that conversation happening. Like you're walking your dog, Roddy. I don't have to walk my Chihuahua. The guy comes running out of the house.
Ladies and gentlemen,
I'm okay.
Sanjay's getting silly.
I'm okay.
It's late on a Sunday night.
Oh.
Well, man, we made it. We made it.
We
And
did.
Sanjay's in tears.
Oh, that was fun. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I love seeing you laugh, Sanjay. It warms the heart. You know what I mean? It really does. It really good for you. Good for you, man.
Oh, you should have joined me. It's a good time.
No, I just didn't. I had no idea what was going on when I see like you're just like I'm like what's going on? Is he okay?
It was all inside my head.
Yeah,
the whole situation played out in graphic detail inside my head, right? Walking your dog, and hey, how many times do you have to walk your dog? I'm okay.
It's not stopping, guys.
I'm okay.
He's still laughing.
Okay.
Sanjay giggles are the best. Okay. I think Caliber's had enough though. He's like later. All right. Okay, Caliber, you got it. Hey, Sanjay, what's coming up in the channel for you?
I still have a couple of reviews I need to edit. Hopefully, this will be a later week coming up.
Yeah.
I should be able to get a couple of videos out, but Saturday Night Watchdog on Saturday. will probably be a mainstay. So
Yeah, yeah,
that's
good.
always gonna happen. So
Yeah, I love it. Yeah, and like Tuesday night,
yeah,
watch talk with Bobby Legs and friends. Also, hopefully, I may say the Friday ones. I'm gonna be probably not doing as much in the near future, guys. Um, but that is not to say that one randomly might not pop up, or we'll continue that going on in perpetuity. Anyway, guys, have a great rest of your weekend. I know you only got a few hours left, and
long
have
weekend
a
here in
great one.
Canada.
What was that?
Long weekend here in Canada.
What is it?
Canadian
Yeah, what's
Canadian
going on?
Thanksgiving.
Oh, happy Thanksgiving to everybody in
Yeah, happy
Canada.
Thanksgiving.
Awesome,
Very thankful
awesome.
for you, Bobby.
Yeah, thankful for you, man. Thankful for
Yeah.
you, Sanjay. And guys, Sanjay, if you don't know, if you're not a subscriber, Sanjay, the link is in the description below, and so is Watchdog Clayton, his podcast, a link down below. Anyway, have a good night, and we'll see you next week for more Watch Tube. Take care, guys.
Good night.
Good night.